What's up, everybody? It's your boy Royster here, and I'm excited about this video as this is going to be my first video in a new series of videos where I'm going to be focusing on music. I'm surprised it's taken me as long as it has to do something about music because I've been passionate about music for a long time. Going back, I've been listening and enjoying music since I've been younger, but I was really passionate and influenced by it when I was in high school, and since then, since about my mid 30s, can't say it's as big of a part of my life as it has been in those years or times past, but it still has its presence in my life. And so yeah, and again, this is Who is Royster, right? And this is where I share those things that are about me, my interests, my hobbies, those things that make me who I am or identify me. So, and music being a big part of that. So, again, I'm excited about this. Been wanting to do this type of video for a while. This isn't going to be like your typical react video or anything where I'm just going to kind of watch, react, or this and that. I will basically, I want to kind of share stories like in the same way I do with some of the other videos and showcasing and highlighting these artists, kind of wanting to put them over or bring attention to their music or maybe even dissect it or talk about how their music or the lyrics speak to me or, things on that level. So, it's going to be largely me commentating on the subject matter and things like that or sharing stories around it while then obviously highlighting the artist's music and things like that. So, I guess not wanting to make this video super long since this is like my first introduction into the series and doing these type of videos, and I might do some more videos where I might just talk about talk more in length about music and its influence. But something real quick to know, if you don't know me personally, and maybe you're not recognizing some of these artists and the wall back here, but basically for the last 20 years or so, my main bread and butter was music that was of the more hard, heavy variety, particularly in the hardcore, metalcore, metal genre, so to speak, and all the things that are in that sphere. And more specific to that is those artists who were doing that, performing that type of music and creating that type of music, who were Christian artists or inspired by their Christian faith, so to speak, and that was a lot of the subject matter in their music. So and obviously that connects and resonates with me because of my Christian beliefs. So so that's kind of to what to be expected. A lot of the bands I will be playing or focusing on or highlighting, showcasing, commenting on will be those who are, faith-based Christian bands, whether they're, or have Christians in them, and perform music that speaks about it. And not every Christian artist or artist that's a Christian that's in a band necessarily speaks just about the topic of their faith, so obviously there's a wide variety there, and I don't necessarily just listen to artists that are, the bands that are Christian or labeled Christian or have Christian artists or themes, but I do listen to some bands that I would consider their message just positive, right, and is not negative, so that's also a thing that's sort of like a parameter in which I listen to music. So anyways, so kind of giving you that like brief summary of myself and my musical taste, wanting to do this. So it's like, oh, what do I do? Out of the gate, you kind of like, do you want to just hit them with, some of your favorite stuff, your best stuff? But I'm excited about this one particularly because there's kind of a cool story behind it. So the band and the album I want to share with you today is this one here. This is a band called Beauty to Ashes. Let's see there. And the name of this particular album is actually EP, is In the Silence We Fight. So this was, I actually have it right here for you guys. It was an album put out 2001, Vindicated Records. Well, technically it says Vindicated from the Deep Water Records was the name. 6-song EP, about a little over 18 minutes in length. But man, this was a gem of from back in the day. I loved this this album when it came out, because I would consider this, I would put this in that spirit-filled hardcore category. That's what I would put it in. This sound is very, I don't know, like, to me it's unique, and it kind of definitely, you can tell sort of, if you were, listening to hardcore music back in this time, you can kind of tell the sound and the time frame about it. But yeah, it has, I remember using this like worshiping with this album at this time frame in my walk and relationship with the Lord, and now, even as I've added it back into my collection, this isn't my original copy. I gave away most of my CDs when I went to ministry school to someone I thought would benefit from them. So I've had to, over time, I've managed to piece some of the collection back, but especially this is not available from what I could find on any of the digital platforms and things like that, which I've kind of used a lot lately to kind of listen to a lot of those older artists whose CDs or albums I no longer have. But this one, since it didn't have it, I hunted it down, found it, and so and I've just been blessed as I've been listening to it over and over. Some car trips, because it's 18 minutes, I'll just listen to it again. I mean, I've just been loving this thing. It just, what I love about it, not only does it still speak to me now, but it speaks to me in a way that it brings me into remembrance of those times when I was young and zealous and passionate in my faith and my walk with Christ, and it just stirs to remembrance those things, and it stirs me now to like kind of get back into touch with that part of my faith and my relationship with God. Those are things that over the years, the decades, I guess you could say, I've kind of lost some of that, and I've been wanting to have that stirred back up in me, and this has been sort of a tool to be used in that. So I wanted to share that with you guys, sort of like this story, and this is kind of very fresh. So yeah, let's. What I'm going to do is I would love to just be able to, play out the 18 minutes or so of this and jam out with you through that and maybe talk. But I'll probably, I feel like I could just skip around, and just, I want to kind of highlight it for those, because there's those who may listen to hardcore or metalcore, and there's good chances they probably never heard this. Especially then, even if you were looking for Christian hardcore, metalcore, and things like that, you probably still have a chance, unless you were active listening and sort of in the scene back in the day, might have heard this, or so might not have heard this. So it's kind of wanting to share that and maybe share some highlights and through the album, and then maybe I want to focus on one song there to kind of give you a sense of the band. So with sort of all that background done, let's go ahead and listen to some Beauty to Ashes, In the Silence We Fight. This is track 1, Unveil Your Eyes. They kind of got the growling vocals. Nice breakdowns. have the testimony. Alright, so that's a little bit excerpt from track 1. Track 2, My Eurydice. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but... again, like there's so many cool parts that they do throughout their songs, and just the content. You know, the content too is with the lyrical content, you know, spiritual content, talking about Christ, talking about their faith, and it's just raw and full of energy. Alright, now I'm going to move to track 3, which is Walking the Straight and Narrow. Give you a little bit of a sampler of that. So like they even have like kind of elements of punk, I feel. So they use a lot of different elements into this. So it's kind of hard to know what to call them. Get a sense of that. So now I'm going to play some samples from track 4, which is EMP Early Morning Prayer. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I get the. There we go. So one thing they kind of to me sound, there's a band that I loved back in the day called Point of Recognition, and their sounds kind of similar to Point of Recognition sound on their first album, Admiration of Sun. Not so much their second and third albums, but and I really like that first. Really love the first 2 Point of Recognition albums, and the third was good, but the first 2 really love, especially the first ones. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play an excerpt, but a little bit longer excerpt from track 5, which is named Lessons from the Battlefield. This is probably my favorite song off the album, and this, by the time you get to this track, like I'm already like charged up and energized, and then this just hits by the time this track comes. So I want to give a little bit better of a sample size of like a song without playing the whole song. So with that, let me actually go here. I actually took a picture of the booklet that had the lyrics, right? What a thing of the past, right? Lyric book, like, the little lyric books or whatnot in CDs, and that actually have lyrics. So I'm probably going to play the first half, and so you can follow along. So it's there to follow along and kind of get the lyrical content. And so yeah, so let's go ahead and start playing that jam. Oh, here we go. My faith in what's I see, and you alone can lead us there. Soft-spoken words that I said with power, and it's silence bring the my deeds are dirt, my faith is the ground. In the silence I fight, and the walls fall down. Oh, that guitar part on top of it. Goosebumps. Alright, so, I mean, I don't know if you was able to kind of get that sense of, like, but, I mean, I don't know, that just, I mean, that just, like, such a, that just takes me back to, you know, my youth, like, you know, when I was young in the Lord, and my zeal and my passion and the fervency, and that just, like, stirs me today. And this is something that I've lacked in my walk, or been inconsistent in my walk for some time, and I've been trying to, like, get that back. And this just, that just stirs that back within me. And I remember those times, and even my own times where, like, I'm, like, deep in, like, you know, because the song's about prayer, about spiritual warfare and things like that, and just the, you know, the fighting for my own soul, and the battles, or the fighting for others and for God's truth, and, you know, remembering those moments, and the innocence, you know, the faith, the innocence that was present there, and, you know, and things like that, that, you know, I don't feel like there's aspects of it I still surface or show from time to time, but I want to get a hold of that essence again for myself, you know, and, you know, not, because I don't think you have to lose it, but unfortunately, you know, for me, you know, I did lose it, you know, but doesn't mean you can't regain it back, right? So anyways, I enjoyed that, and I just love how the you know, the harmony of it, the power in it, just the rawness of it, you know. And that's one of the things that has always attracted me to this type of music. Is just, I feel like in a lot of ways, especially during this time frame, some of the bands, or the bands that you would maybe call spirit-filled, is like the authentic, how authentic it is, right? And how relatable and how easy it's to connect, right? So anyways, give you a little bit of sample before we head out here. The last song called Abba. This part's sick right here. Yes, sir. And let's just get to the end. Let's see here. Get to finish it off with. So yeah, there was actually a part I kind of inadvertently jumped over, but it was just this cool part. Like it has this like the one of the things that some of these bands would do would go into those like from that aggressive to those very melodic kind of atmospheric sort of, and then go into like that heavy hitting part. So anyway, so that is, well, I'll get this back and we'll get this back here. This is Beauty to Ashes right here. I got a little bit into the music, forgot to change that out there, but that's Beauty to Ashes and The Silence We Fight. Again, great 6-song EP. So anyway, so hey, let me know if you've ever heard them, your thoughts on them, you know, any impact that their music had on you. If this is your first time hearing them, what's your thoughts? Are you going to go try to, you know, scope them out, look for them, find them? I know it's probably going to be a little hard to find them if they're not on digital platforms, but you know, so you got, you know, the name of the band, the album, some of the names of the tracks, so, you know, have at it. So, and feel free to share your comments below. And I appreciate it as I, you know, attempt to start something, doing, you know, something new, you know. So, and any positive criticism, welcome. So, all right, guys. With that said, I'm going to get on out here. Take care. God bless. Peace.